So Jenn and Jeanette are bronze executives with ASEA, and they have done an incredible job of using events to really grow their business. They've done it very successfully, so they're going to share with us all about the power of inviting people to events.
I'll move over just a bit. I've got the one with the cord, so I'd better be careful because I can be clumsy. So I've watched myself while I'm up here on stage. But I'm starting with a story. This is a wonderful story I've known for many years. It's called Friends and Spoons. There is a story about a man who left this earth and was taken for a tour of the inner realms. He was shown a room where he saw a large group of hungry people trying to eat their dinner. But because of the spoons that they had and that they were trying to eat from, and the spoons were actually longer than their arms, so they remained frustrated eating. This, his guide said, is hell. That's terrible. The man said, show me where we'll find heaven. The man said, very well. And off they went. When they opened heaven's door, the man was perplexed to see what looked like exactly the same scene. But as he looked a little bit closer at the group of people, he noticed that the people were there with spoons longer than their arms again. But when he looked more closely, however, he saw happy faces and full tummies. For there was an important difference with this group. The people in heaven had learned to feed each other. And so I believe that's probably the ethos of the city. So here goes with our presentation.
Okay, so when we were planning the talk, we were really thinking, obviously our topic is the power of events and inviting people to events, but for us it really starts at the very beginning, and for us it always starts with visioning. So that's where we wanted to start with this presentation today. So visioning, it's all in the planning, and of course ASEA hit us last year, and probably like most people, you weren't ready for it, or maybe you were. It was perfect timing. And for us, we have very busy lives and very busy businesses. We've had our own business for the last more than 25 years in different areas. And so when ASEA came along, it hit really fast and really quickly, but we knew we wanted to be part of it. We had really big reasons to be part of the ASEA family. So this year we started a little differently on our planning, and we started the start of the year and we got going with some setting our goals and so on. And the first part always starts with knowing your why.
So we sat down and at a coffee shop, as you can see, down by the bay where we live, we got going straight away with looking at our why. I've got a very big reason, a very big why, and that's a health challenge that I had in 2015 with rogue cells. So my journey really is about not encountering rogue cells ever again, and improving my health to such a point where I can be a example and a leader in this area. So that's my own personal why. But Jenny and I sat together because we are bronze, and we sat together in January and we thought, what's our bigger why? And we actually want to be leaders with ASEA. We want to travel the world, we want to share the story of the molecules, and we truly want to help a lot of people along the way. And certainly as we help a lot of people, we will be helped. That's how the journey goes. If you're on this journey, it's never about other people. It's about how to improve yourself and become the best version you can be.
So it's important to have a vision, and we've set our visions really clearly this year as to where we'd like to go. And a big part of that is also, we both have a home-based business and we see quite a lot of people. And what happens when you're a practitioner and you're seeing people, you're seeing people one-on-one. So our vision is to be able to connect with a lot more people, and by having a goal and a vision around different events in our lives, we're able to do that.
It's not always easy. We have to maintain positivity and we have to be consistent. Sometimes you get a bit down, you go, oh, holy hell, things are not quite working out, or I got someone who said it's not working, or I thought I had someone and now they've gone with someone else, or I thought I had someone and they've gone completely off the boil. But we've just consistently continued to offer events, consistently called people, consistently carried on with our own track, because you've got to have an anchor. You can't keep bobbing around on the ocean of life. You have to have an anchor and you have to steer your own ship. So we got ourselves together and decided, how are we going to steer this ship?
Sure. So we've set our goals, we've got off to a good start this year, an early start, and we're keeping at it. And obviously a lot of you know about the A-Lift format, and we certainly follow with that, which is? Everyone knows that one. So we be consistent, walk your talk, and we try and stay positive all the time. So, the events themselves. So in the last year, we've tried to hold a lot of different events, host events, and also obviously plan events and invite people to events. We love this photo that we found the other day, which is you want people lining up your door to hear about the amazing molecules. And we love that idea that more and more people will come to find out about it. So you make sure you have events that people can actually attend, which are weekly, fortnightly, and monthly. So for us, we started something last year called the ASEA Coffee Meetings, which we'll touch on in a moment. But it's something that we know we can do fortnightly, and we've been committed to doing that since May last year.
So yeah, 12 months, every fortnight we open our home on a Monday morning. It started off in a coffee shop, but we open our home, and that is always a fortnightly event. We remind people of the weekly event, which is the Zoom calls, so they're the virtual events. And there's always something going on monthly, and if there isn't, we just pull up and host a presentation.
So that's the next one, be known to offer regular events yourself. And we know now because Justin's just completed the tour in May around Australia, and we've had some events just in our local area. We know that when June comes along, we can go, okay, so what events can we do in June that are not happening within the actual company? So we do event drives, and event drives for us can be quite done with a lot of passion, actually, because we love ASEA and we love the molecules and we want to share them. So even about...
event drives are fast. They're spontaneous.
And you have to do them in a lot of different ways. So you have to do, obviously, emails, messages, text messages, use your social media, use Facebook, invite people to things. But mostly we actually get on the phone and actually talk to people and ask them to actually come along.
About just before some of these events, in the last week or two, we'll go and have lunch down at our coffee shop. It didn't end up being lunch, but we had coffee and cake. So we had coffee and cake at the shop. We were there about an hour and a half, and while we were there, just quickly formulated a message to grab attention, and then shared it over to Jen, and then we both just let our fingers do the talking. And off we went, sending out heaps and heaps of messages. Some people responded, sorry, can't make it this time, straight back. So are you happy to hear about it next time we've got one on? Yep, please keep me on the list. So we go straight back with that, ask them, are they right to come to the next one when it's on offer? So don't miss the moment.
So even when people can't make it to an event, then keep them on the list. So always have the next event ready to go and another option available. And we did this recently because we were really fortunate that Janine actually was coming up here and she said, would you like me to come and talk to your team? And we went, yes. You know, they get sick of hearing us all the time, so we said that was fantastic. And because it actually coincided with our ASEA coffee meeting on the Monday, we organised for Janine to be a guest speaker on the Monday morning, which is the ASEA meeting.
In the informal
way, and also do a night presentation. So for those people who said, yeah, I can come along, but I can't come to that, we were also able to offer them another option. So
now also with these event drives, we didn't stay locally. We knew Justin was travelling all around Australia, so we went, who do we know in Melbourne? Who do we know in Sydney? And we just got straight on the line with those people. You get rejection, that's okay, but you just keep moving on, because that's not your story, that's their story. So you have to just keep moving on without attachment.
And you get enrolments too.
And you
get enrolments even if they actually don't make it to the end.
You were just going to tell a story about that, were you? Just on
yeah, with that, I just happened one day, a lady, her name came into my head. I've known her, over the last couple of years, not really well, but obviously in the work that I do, she's another reflexologist. And I just thought, I'll just message her. So I messaged her really quickly and I said, you don't happen to be interested in cells and cellular health, do you? And she messaged me straight back and she said, oh my goodness, I was just doing a talk about something like that last week. What do you know? And I said, well, I know there's somebody coming to your local area who's going to do a talk and he's amazing. And she said, I want to go. And she went. She got there. She went. I said, I don't know how far it is. I don't know where you live. I've got none of those details, but you need to go along and hear Justin. And she did. She enrolled and she really wants to build a team in Sydney. So that was just, that was fantastic. That doesn't always happen, but it was good.
And at the same time, not for the same reason, but I phoned a friend who I hadn't spoken to for a long time. Not a long time, for a few months. She's in Melbourne. I phoned her. I said, there's a meeting going on. And Justin's coming to talk. What can you do? She phoned me back and she said, I've just got out of hospital. I don't know if I can do anything. I said, what's wrong? She told me what's wrong. I said, you need the molecules more than ever. I had a half-hour conversation on the phone, talked to her about her condition, what she needed to do, and she said, sign me up, fill out the forms, do whatever you need. So she didn't make it to the meeting, but she actually enrolled, and then I hooked her up to go and pick up a bottle straight away from Janine. So her husband went around, picked up the bottle, and in just 8 days, she's had a fabulous turnaround. So this is it, the magic of events. This is why we love events. Of course, I'm a social person, so I love events anyhow. I'm a bit like Justin. Today I'm toned down. So events offer you leverage. Leverage is fantastic because you don't have to do the talking. You just take the person, you put them in front of the speaker, and the speaker does the work for you. That's leverage. It also builds a sense of team and community. And we've had this wonderful opportunity to share events with people, and we always say events are magic. Get yourself to an event. If you can't get there, we'll pick you up. Get to our place. We're leaving at such and such a time. And we generally, to nearly every event, we take a carload or maybe have 2 or 3 cars meet at our place at the required time. Hearing testimonials from others is astonishing, and there's always testimonials shared in the large group experience. And it is an opportunity to expand product information. Every time you go to a meeting, especially when Justin's talking, because he just has so much knowledge and wisdom, you expand your information about the products you're using. And, we try to get people to every event, and, sometimes when the numbers are low, I feel so sad, because I think hundreds of people should be sitting here, particularly when he's on fire. And we're lucky, we've got him in Brisbane and we can call him anytime, but when someone is on fire and can do that work for you, it's just like, get inspired, get people there, use your upline, make it work for you. So that's that one. It also enables people to hook into the business opportunity, because sometimes when we take people, they say to us, you're pretty involved with this company, aren't you? What are you doing? What are you, there is a business, isn't there? Go, yep, if you want to find out the business, I can talk to you, but you've got to do a number of things before we'll take you on as our business builder. That's important because people can run you around, they can be crazy makers, and they can take all your time. So that's hooking into the business opportunity. Hearing from some information from someone else. This is not about major testimonials given in the group. This is about someone sitting beside someone else and they go, oh, what are you doing here tonight? And they go, oh, I've had a son who's had terrible eczema and he's doing well. And that person goes, oh, my sister's got eczema all over her hands. You don't have to do the work, that's informal, that's just where they're placed in the room. Called the accidental tourist. They're looking around and then they find the person next to them's got all the information they need. It's a Celestine moment. So here we go. That's informal connection with other SEA users. That's what I just covered. And it builds trust and develops rapport. So, you know, we have people who come in the car with us. Some people have been coming a few times, other people are brand new guests. Either way, it builds rapport, and then when you see them again, you say, how are you going? And they go, oh, look, I must get back onto you about that product. Blah, 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 and it keeps building rapport.
So our Sear for Coffee is our signature event, which we hold fortnightly event every Monday. And obviously in this particular one, we did start in coffee shops, and that was the whole idea, to not have something in our home, because, you know, when things are in your home, you have to clean up, you have to tidy up, you also have to move people out at the end, and some people really just don't want to go home.
And we do have a lot of things going on
We
in our
do.
home.
So we really wanted this to be in a coffee shop, and we actually last year spent, we were in 3 different coffee shops. And what we found towards the end of last year is there was just too many variables. They were noisy, they have coffee machines, they have juice bars, and you can't sometimes talk privately, and you sometimes can't hear each other. So what we decided to do this year is we actually brought it back to home, and so now we have the event running every second Monday. And it's really informal, but it's incredibly impactful. And what we have actually found is that I think our lowest numbers for this particular event was 2. We had 2 women turn up one day, they were both associates, but it was still impactful because of what we actually talked about.
Because that day we did training.
We actually did training with them instead. So we always have this wonderful group, and even the meeting that we held on Monday recently was really impactful because of some of the testimonials that were actually shared in that group. So we always do a check-in with the group. We always tell everybody about the amazing tools that are available in the brochures and the other materials that you can get. We always do testimonials, always do demonstrations, and at the moment we're really focused on the 3 and 5, which is obviously using the Renew 28, putting it on 3 times in 5 minutes. Often we vary it with a video clip, a training, event news, mini presentations, and sometimes we also have guest speakers, which leads me to the next one. So we have been really fortunate that we asked both Nicole and Janine different times to come to our Sear for Coffee. And so it's do not be afraid to engage your upline. They're really willing to come and talk to the group. Advertise them as your guest speaker, really edify them, really talk them up and tell people how amazing they are, and if they don't come, they're going to miss out on something really special.
Just pump their tyres up.
So have them do their style of presentation. What we did with Janine coming is we asked her, do a presentation. We'd love you to do that. So she did her style of her presentation on Monday night, and it was wonderful to see her style. And it was gentle and it was engaging, and it was terrific to see.
And when Nicole came, we had maybe 20, 25 people in the coffee. It was in the coffee shop, and Nicole and I did a one-on-one interview. And that was a whole different style, and that was fabulous.
And I believe it's on YouTube somewhere as well.
And Nicole was heavily pregnant. She had a long way to the toilet.
To the bathroom. Hence moving it to home too. Okay, this is your area.
Okay, so this is what I love. I love the ethos of a Sear. My turnaround point was really, really fast after we were introduced to the products when I saw the Sear Genesis video. I was just crying like a baby, watching the video, thinking, this is unbelievable, because I was so absolutely touched by it. And then when I got more involved and saw Believe, Belong and Become, I just felt like, this is really it. So Believe is about an opportunity to build belief in the power of the amazing molecules. And for Jen and I, that both came very rapidly. And it's not something where you have 100% belief in the beginning. You have to keep getting to events, getting yourself involved, keep engaging so that you continue to maintain a high level of belief. When people see you with a high level of belief, they actually like that. If you look like you're dancing around all over the place and you haven't got your act together and you don't phone them back and you don't come back to them and stuff like that, they'll go somewhere else. That happened to us recently. Someone phoned out of the blue and said, I'd love to come on board with you guys. I've been introduced to this before, but the person I was introduced by was really flaky, and they never got back to me, and I tried to find out more, and they didn't seem to be building a business, which is what I want to do. So now we've just managed to garner that person, and she looks like she'll be a solid business builder, and we were looking for that. So that's one of our visions too. We're not just looking for customers now, we're looking for full-on business builders. So that's what we're wanting to attract. So the belong one, create context in which people feel connected to their tribe, their team or community. We had this experience on Monday evening at Janine's presentation event. A gentleman whose son has a huge health challenge, and we've been supporting and following up and working with them, and things are going great. He came to our home meeting he actually came on Wednesday to hear Justin speak, and then I phoned and said, how did he go? And his wife said he went great, and I said, do you want to come to the next meeting? She said, no, he's up for the next meeting again. So he turned up at our place Monday, and he said after the meeting, when we were having tea and coffee, he said, I've been in the wilderness for so long, I've been so lost, but now that I'm here with you guys, I feel like I've found my people and I want to hang out with you. And that just, when he left, I said, okay, call you next week with the next event. So he's up. So this last one here, become. Through the culture of this company and personal development, you grow more, becoming a better version of yourself. Well, that's all the personal development work, and that's about what Justin was talking about, and Nicole at the beginning of this session was about integrity. I think Justin said one of his intentions is to be integrous, and we want to be really integrous. We want to be personable, but we want to be professional. We try to dress professionally, we try to be professional, we try to be as professional as we can be in all of our dealings and not attached to the outcome. And I think that's really powerhouse for us. The mind is everything. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. So we're working fairly strongly on attracting affirmations at the moment, affirmations of attraction. And here we are on the road to bronze. Events build community, give recognition and create great leaders. We sort of came up with that slogan yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, another one.
And this was Trish's event last year that we went to. We really did a big drive for this one, and we actually got about 20 associates and guests come along on that full day, which was fantastic. That was great.
And some of the guests there who hadn't enrolled at that point, enrolled shortly after that. So it was a really another really big boost, and they actually saw us as leaders on the stage being recognised, and they realised we were further along than they thought, because they were just coming along in the car with us thinking we were just nice people doing the right thing, and then they realised, hey, we're up there, we're with some people who might be doing okay here. And we had a couple of people say, my God, we'd better get going on this business stuff.
Okay, I realise we're over time.
Okay, we're on the last two slides.
So this is the challenge. What we're talking about here is the power of events. You will see the magic in this kind of connecting. Here is the challenge. When you leave here, make a pledge to host an event of your own. Make a commitment to invite plenty of people to events. Don't invite 10, invite 30, and then 10 might turn up. And get out your living list and keep adding to it and start inviting. That's why it's a living list, because it continues to go on and on. If you need a push start, then get support. Call your upline. I love that photo. It's got the walk signal on it. We love signals. Okay, and we're finished with a quote. Jeanette, you love quotes.
Yes, personal development is not something you can pursue as an armchair expert, not something you can master on the sidelines. It has to be a contact sport, one where you're in contact with others who can help you on your journey. And that's from The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, so if you haven't read it, go ahead and do so. We hope you've got something out of that. We love events, and there's magic in all events. Magic in there's amazing molecules in a bottle and a tube, but there's magic in the events. There we go. Thank you very much.
Fantastic.